Hey, good morning there, Sweet Peas. Basic Prepper Mom Myra here, and I want to take a minute just to talk about the video that I posted yesterday. Let me clarify a few things, because after posting it and kind of re-looking at it and thinking about it, I think some things kind of got lost in my ramblings of whatever I was talking about at the time. So when I talk about making a list and putting down everybody's attributes basically on how they can be not just necessarily of help to you personally, but how can they be of help or assistance in a community or a network aspect. So kind of on a bigger, grand scale of things. Now, in looking at stuff like that, we definitely want to make sure that we have all of our bases covered as much as we possibly can. And that means to look at people that are not very mechanical or construction-y or, like hands-on kind of thing. So what other skills do we need to have in our networking? Well, things like education, having somebody that can educate children on all levels, not just, young children or old children, but kind of education on all aspects of that. And that could be one person, that could be several people that can do that. Somebody that is really good with communication, because somebody that's really good at different forms of communication and communication skills, things like Morse code, ham radios, things like that, are definitely going to play into being able to help the community as a whole. So communication is another really great thing to have. And it's always good when you're looking at having people in your network, it's always good to look at multiples of things. You don't want to just have one person that's good at education, one person that's good on communication, and that's it. Because if for some reason that person goes down, or they leave or whatever, then you're kind of stuck in that situation. So make sure that you have a couple of each different. And I know that's a lot to ask when you're looking at supporting people, especially food-wise, but I think it's definitely something that's necessary to be able to restructure and rebuild things. Look at people that have, and I know that some people are going to be about this, I really think having a network of somebody that's got really, really good IT skills. Now, why should somebody have IT skills when we're talking about grid down situation and crap at the fan scenario? Well, eventually, first of all, things are going to come back up slowly. Things are possibly going to come back online, and you need someone who is skilled enough to be able to do all of that. Second of all, a lot of times IT people kind of think outside the box in different things. So while you're looking at technology as, the internet, computer, sometimes they can actually look outside the box and figure out how to get things running, how to get things up and moving, different and alternative forms to what you're thinking, okay? Their brain kind of works a little bit differently on that. So those are just an example of a few different kind of outside the box skills when you're looking at people to network with. People that can take care of first aid stuff, nurses, medical, but not just on a emergency critical medical standpoint. People that can step in and take care of moms and infants and things like that. So kind of more of a doula kind of situation. There's kind of all of these, so many different aspects to look at. So when you look at your friends, don't just look at your friends list and your family's list and say, oh, this person can do construction, great, this person can't. Look at that person on your list. Really think about what they do in their everyday life, what they do at their job. Kind of really analyze them before you discount them. So I'm not saying discount everyone. Now, having said that, when you start making your list and doing all of this stuff, you also have to take into consideration of how much extra food, water, and supplies is that person able to provide, and if they are able to provide that, what do we get in return? So there kind of has to be a give and take, okay? I'm just putting that out there. A lot of creators a few creators that I follow are talking about everybody pulling out, completely pulling away from society, taking your money out of the banks, not going to your jobs, completely withdrawing from society. Like, you have nothing to do with society anymore. Technology is done. Like, you just completely are off the grid, hobbit. You know, you have nothing. You're just done. And starting that kind of mass exodus, because their fear is that, well, if you don't do it, the government's going to do it for you. The government then will come in and take control of your kids, take control of your life, your finances. You know, we've seen that in Canada right now with everything that's going on up there. We've seen them, you know, bank accounts are being frozen. So there's this thought process of, if you don't do it on your own terms, your own self, then the government's going to take it over, and the government's going to do it for you, and the government is going to make that choice for you and for your children. Now, I will be the first to say that I'm not really sure I can do that right now. If you look at me, not my video yesterday, but if you look at me, my hair's done, my makeup's done, I get my nails done every 2 to 3 weeks. There's a bit of pampering that goes on. Now, not saying that I can't live with all that. I can totally live without that. And I don't do this every day. Obviously, as you saw yesterday when I was working outside. So for me to say I'm going to jump ship and just completely off-grid everything. I am off-gridding, like we are going off the grid. And every time I say that, my kids go, please no, please no. We're not in a position right now to do that. And I understand that if everyone just mass exodus at the same time, just everybody just does that, just we're done, it would definitely make a statement. It would definitely hurt the economy in our country to the point where people would start being listened to. And maybe it would start to sink into the powers that be that, you know what, we're not going to deal with this. We're not going to stand for this. And I understand that. I, however, am not in a position to do that right now. Have we thought about it? Absolutely. Have we thought about the consequences of it? Because there are going to be consequences. Absolutely. But the theory is out there is that the government wants you to own nothing. The government wants you to have nothing. There are big companies and big corporations that are coming in and swooping up and buying houses all over the United States at huge high prices. In my area, we're seeing that like nothing stays on the market, and the housing price, we can't afford to buy a house right now here because it is just absolutely insane. Literally, there is nothing in this county right now that is under 400,000. I mean, you might find every now and then, but it's going to be a big, giant, huge fixer-upper. But there's nothing under 400,000 in this county right now, and it's very sickening, especially when you have you have a family and both parents work, and you still can't buy a house, because not to mention our gas prices are high, our taxes are high, everything is taxed, and our food prices keep going up. So, believe me, the thought has crossed my mind. The thought has also crossed my mind to just find a piece of property and just to plop myself there with my family in a trailer and be like, this is our place now. You know, kind of claim this whole eminent domain thing. Nope, sorry, this is my place. My place, I own it. Like the Oklahoma land grab of whatever year that was. Just find a piece of property and put my flag there. It's mine now. Mine now. But obviously can't do that. But the thought has crossed our mind to secede from society, and that's kind of what it would be. It would just be a complete, everybody withdraw, everyone, close down every account you have, to where there's almost no trace of you. You're paying cash for everything. You're not going to work. You're not driving on the roads. You're not buying. So there's kind of this whole thought process to it. It's definitely not an easy one, because we all are very dependent on the systems that are put into place right at this moment, right? Even though things are crappy, even though things are going crazy, we're all very dependent on the systems that are put into place. Well, let me tell you something. I don't think that what's going on in Canada is just going to stay in Canada. I think it's going to come here. And I've said this, I think the trucker rally that's happening this week, it's supposed to start this week in our country. I think that is going to be the, I don't want to say the starting point, because I think we've been in a starting point, but I think that is going to be a catalyst to push us to stuff that's going on in Canada. I think it's going to push us to conflicts. It's going to push us to protest and rally and be arrested and have our bank accounts shut down. And I mean, the Canadian police have come out and said that, hey, even though you're not arrested and you might have left the protest up there, we're going to track you down and we're going to trace you and we're going to find you and we're going to punish you. So even if you happen to have been at the protest 3 hours for one day holding a sign and then decided, you know what, I'm done, I'm just going to go back home now, they know who you are and they are going to trace you and track you down. And if you don't think that's going to come to the United States, I think you're sadly mistaken on this. I think that you're giving our government way too much credit than it deserves. So definitely something to think about. I don't think that, I mean, obviously I'm not in a position to withdraw from society. I happen to love my job. I happen to love what I do. And I've got a lot of stuff that we need to take care of. So the best that we can do is to continue to prepare, continue to look at your families, continue to watch out for your families, continue to do what you can to stock up and store. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, but those are my thoughts for today. Sorry, this is a bit of a long video, but I definitely wanted to touch base on the stuff that I said yesterday. So once again, any questions or comments, reach out to me. I hope you guys have a great, amazing day. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.